Hey everyone, I'm Dark Quarter, and welcome back to Factorio. So I think I kind of went a little overboard. Last time I said I was going to plan out, well, at least plan out some stuff with trying to get a main bus together, or my version of a main bus anyway, and maybe get a couple things in place. And man, I did that off camera, off screen, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry. I built all this stuff. Some of this is based on designs that I've seen with different people on YouTube playing it. Like this would be for the 3 different tiers of belts. And I know that point 17 is out now and has a lot of changes to research and a few other things, but I'm sticking with, point 16 for this video, for this series. So you don't have to worry about things changing or anything. They're gonna stay the same as they were when I started this. So, but yeah, some blueprints designs that I copied from some people seem pretty useful for helping with the main bus. This is well, I can't remember if there's an official can't remember what they called it, but I called this a load balancer. Basically, it's supposed to help balance the different belts of a bus. And well, I can demonstrate it with getting this putting this belt down. Basically, what's going to happen is that even if you only have one input, it's basically going to spread whatever you put into here through all four lanes of this belt, which helps with balancing out, all the different items on a belt that are going to be there. And I'll just demonstrate it here. You'll see that one input can spread across all 4 lanes of a bus here. Of course, the more inputs you have, the more items that you'll end up having on the belt, which is better overall. But even if you only have one input, it'll spread it as much as it can over every lane of the belt, which is great. And I figured balancing out every time, when you want to build things off of a main belt like this, or at least this belt, I don't know if it's a main belt, but this one has all iron plates on it. So whenever I want to build something with iron plates, I just kind of take it off the side here. And I can't remember if I saw it or if I made this myself, but I try to have it so that once I'm through using it, or if something goes unused, it'll feed back onto the belt, the main belt itself here. Although I did see a design from one person that kind of made me think that idea is a little bit better. So I'm not going to change this area here. This will just stay the same. Because the way I have it is that the iron plates will go off of here on this side, and then it'll be used to make all these things that require the iron. And it'll go through here, and when it splits back off, it'll reintegrate with the belt on both sides and go this way for these assemblers to make the iron gears. And then when I'm done, or if they don't happen to use all of it, it'll just feed back onto the main belt, and there's the balancer to get it back again to the best spread that it can do for that. So I started out taking it off down here and then going up and over and fitting it back onto the belt, but this other person's idea, I can't remember who it is offhand, sorry. Their idea was to, when you take something off of the belt, to have it wrap around and then go down and then feed back into the belt from the bottom, which I think is a better idea, because then for the parts that you don't use, you'll feed it back into the belt, so it'll have a better chance of being used. From here, the way I have it, it'll feed back onto it later, and that doesn't give you as much of a chance to use the items again. If you didn't use them the first time, it'll feed back into it later on, and that's probably not a good way to do it. But anyway, now I have these assemblers ready to make the I have this, at least the space reserved to make all the different tiers of belts, and the regular transport belts, the underground belts, and the splitters of each tier. They're all set up in advance, so whenever I unlock them, I'll be able to set up these assemblers to make them, and these are all set up to feed into a box and then feed from that box into the next one, just so there'll be a place to put these, so these assemblers aren't just like standing still with only a few items. And the same, sort of the same thing, but not really. I tried setting up a way to get a way to build these fast inserters. I still have to get the last thing I did was to set up these green circuits. That's what they are, circuits. Electronic circuits. That's the last thing I set up when I was playing it off screen, was this area with the circuits, and I already set up a belt with the copper plates. And copper plates aren't really used that much, but still need a main belt for them. And I have a lot of these. You can see I built up the smelting, the iron smelting a little bit more. I mean, is this okay? I kind of feel bad that I didn't record all this stuff that I was doing, but at least I'm able to explain what I did, or at least I hope I'm explaining it well enough. I don't know if you guys get what I was doing, or if it's if it's confusing or whatever. I'm not sure, but hopefully you guys get what I was doing off screen, and it doesn't it doesn't affect it badly. I hope. So, it's here. I think this should be here. Those little guys are kind of messed this up a little bit, I think. Yeah. Can't have them on that side. I can pick them up. So, it's not really a problem. Just have to pick them up one by one. Okay. And I did use this world seed to start just a regular game that I can play myself, so I don't keep playing this and get too ahead of myself here. Like I kind of feel like I did before, but I was playing this a lot, and it's definitely a lot of fun. But just from my playing of the game off screen, I know I'm going to need a lot more iron pretty soon. Just to keep all those smelters going and for all the demand that I'm going to have for building these assemblers. And I can't even handcraft anything to move things along. I have to depend completely on assemblers to make stuff for me. That's probably going to be a little more intense as far as, you know, the amount of things I'm going to have to pull off this belt to construct. I really need to get rid of those trees too. But anyway, that's where I'm at. I made up a few belts, set up some assemblers with different things. So now I've got a good way to get iron gears, and they're gonna feed into other things. I still haven't done any more research, so you don't have to worry about that. Still have to get green research going. But considering the assemblers that I've set up now, it shouldn't be too bad. I can't make any of these, right? I mean, I can't put down any steam engines here, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay. So, there's that. And I kind of realized that even if I have stuff set up there, it doesn't mean I have to get rid of all this area down here. I can keep this here. It's not really hurting anything. Because I thought I was going to have to remove all of these and then build up there for all the stuff that I need. But I can keep both of these areas up. That's not really a problem. So I kind of realized that, you know, off screen when I was playing just by myself, that, wait a minute, I don't have to remove these. I can just keep them here. What the heck am I talking about, you know? But let's get these set up. Alright. Didn't mean to do that. You're supposed to make those. Thank you very much. What the heck? And this is going to hold a few of these. I have a bunch of iron crates around to hold stuff that I'm going to need multiples of anyway. And I limited most of these chests to, you know, a certain amount because I don't want them to just keep filling up all the way. I don't need that many of every single item. But if I need more, I can always come back to these chests and just grab half the stack or something, or I can go to the assembler and grab a few that are built. So, but the problem with having this area down here is that I'm feeding a lot of my available iron down here just to keep all these assemblers going. So that is going to be a problem eventually. I don't have to worry about it this second, but eventually I would like to, just feed all these back up this way. These iron plates, because I'm going to need a lot of iron later on when I'm building some of the more advanced stuff. And we're not even talking too advanced. I mean, just like tier 2 or tier 3 stuff is going to take a ton of iron to do. I have to start worrying about, oil processing. I have to start worrying about getting all the different fluids together and putting those in vats, the storage tanks. I have to start worrying about, stuff like that. And since I am playing the same map on my own, I noticed that I'm gonna have to start building radars too, so I can see more of the surrounding area, because there is not a lot of stuff over here. I mean, there's all this iron and copper and stone up here that I can use, and a little bit of stone down here, but the problem is going to come later on when I need oil, and there's not a lot of oil. I mean, just look at this default part of the map. It's only showing one crude oil area up there, and there is more oil down here and a little bit up here and a little bit up here, but a lot of it's really far, and I am going to have to build some radar. So player and gear wheel. Okay. So I can use some of the same combos that I have down here. Iron plate, electronic circuit, and iron gear wheel. Alright, I think I have... Let's say that I have need iron gear wheel. I'm probably gonna bring those up. Let's see. This is gonna hold these guys, the blue grabby hands. And let's see. This is a step back from what I've been playing. I've been playing it like every day, and just like kind of zoning out a little bit and playing Factorio and watching / listening to YouTube videos about different things and just playing Factorio all day, well, not all day, obviously, but for a few hours, like every day. I've been playing this a lot lately. So just going from my game back to this, kind of like a step backward in time. Got to get used to just being at tier 1 still now. So, sorry if it's taking me a few minutes to acclimate to this. Alright, so I think I should... You know what? I'm going to set up miners for more iron. That's what I'm going to do. Because I definitely need a whole lot more iron inputs there. I have a lot more in my game, this is still my game, but in my personal game, not this one, I have a lot more iron set up. So I think I'm gonna work on starting that too here. So let me clear some of these trees away. And then I will start putting down some new miners. And I have it, let's see. In my other game, I've researched all tier 2 stuff, like everything that needs green and red science to research. But I haven't done that yet in this game. I mean, I can start doing green research, though. I should actually just make blueprints of the stuff in the other game and put them over here. That'll save a lot of time trying to set stuff up, actually. I mean, it's not going to be exactly the same, because in this game I can't handcraft anything, so I'm going to be spending a lot more surface area with making a lot more assemblers than I would need in a normal game. But let me set up some of these miners. I like setting up the miners first and then putting the power out, because if I try to set up the power first before, you know, setting up where these assemblers are going to be, or where these where the miners are going to be, it's just going to be a little confusing to me, you know. Let's see. I don't think that reaches over there. It's the way the texture is. It's kind of reaching beyond the square, but it's not actually there. It's part of this little square thing, so to remember that stuff. And I have a lot more not miners, what am I want to talk about? Smelters. I have a lot more furnaces in the other game. So I like having these guys lined up because it looks nicer, and because it's just better, I think. I mean, I don't know exactly how efficient it is, but I'm trying to cover as many squares as I can with as many iron squares as I can. And if I tried to move them exactly to, you know, where all of the spots are for iron, like this guy's only partially in the field, I could move him down to get more of the iron, but I find the mining easier when I have everything lined up kind of like this in different rows. And then I don't have to worry about really any weird placement of the miners. Like, I know I'm going to get every single space still overall, but then I won't have to worry about any weird spacing with miners. So I find this way of setting up the miners a little bit better, but I mean, it's just a personal thing. People can set up their miners however they want. Not saying this is the best way, but this is the way I like doing it. Man, I spent most of this time just talking about what I did and, you know, off screen. Sorry about that. Haven't really made too much progress in this. Well, I haven't made too much progress that you guys have seen. But overall, let me know if you guys mind that I do some of the stuff off screen. I mean, is it okay if I do some things off screen so it doesn't take up all the time doing this? Just like, you don't want to watch me chopping trees the entire time or anything, right? You know, but let me know if this is okay for me to do. I mean, as long as I explain what I did, you know, off screen. Is it okay if I do that occasionally? Like, I'm not going to do it every single time. Or would you guys rather see, you know, every single thing that I do, so you can kind of follow along, or, you know, do whatever I don't know what you guys think about that stuff. So, you know, just in general, let me know about things like that. The things you want to see and don't want to see. And, you know, whatever. I want to make sure it only goes on one side of this belt. The front ones are the easiest. And I like lining up these belts. I don't know if I explained this before. It's been a while since the first episode, but I like lining the belts up with the miner that's the farthest forward out of all the other miners, and then just, you know, setting up the other ones to go, you know, in their own rows of going to the belt. I find it to be a little bit, you know, better for me doing it that way. As you may see. Oh, and somebody that I was watching reminded, you know, just in their video, it reminded me that you can actually reserve a spot in these in the toolbar. You can reserve a spot by clicking the mouse wheel, and then that spot will never be taken up by any other item. It will always be that item. Even if you remove it from that spot, it'll reserve that spot for that specific item. Which is pretty cool if you expect to use a certain item a lot, then it helps a lot with that. So you'll always have a spot open for it on the toolbar, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Go down there. Then you will go here. Let's see. I'll reserve this spot here for the fast inserters. Alright. Take those couple down just because I want to. Oh, and I need to power all these too. There's that. Alright, reserve that because I like using it in that spot. This is going to be so much better when I can start using the different power poles too. The medium power poles cover a lot more area than these baby ones. Just keep the button down. Get all these guys. Okay. Go. Okay. And there we go. Now they're all powered. Now I just have to figure out where I want them to go. It's gonna be up here. Let's see. Probably put them... they'll have to be on one side of the belt, basically. Or I can just feed them into one of these spots. That might work too. I can't divide these... I can't divide these too much because then the smelters, the furnaces won't be able to keep up with the demand of the belt when I really start building stuff with the assemblers. This stuff is going to get pretty scarce. So I should probably... I could make this its own its own input for this. That I might do that. Alright, but I'm going to have to end this video at this point, so I'll save that for later. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being cool, and I'll see you next time.